Good evening, everyone. How are we doing on this fine Tuesday evening?
Y'all?
There's nothing going on in the golf world.
We're not
day,
canceling
another
the golfing
35
dads
cents.
are not canceling anything.
Dave's subscription to getting to play around, but hey.
All right. So, let's dive right into it because this has been breaking news.
We have to. There's no way around it. It is what it is. It was the major news story of today. The Philadelphia Phillies. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to add this to the stage. New Orleans celebration of the live loss. Let's be honest. I'm going to read this first. So, Live Golf put out a statement that says, in coordination with the governor of Louisiana and the Louisiana Economic Development, we have made the strategic decision to explore moving Live Golf Louisiana to a new window later this fall. This shift allows us to avoid the peak summer heat and the crowded global sports calendar, while ensuring the course is in the championship condition our fans and players expect. We are grateful for the continued partnership and flexibility of the state of Louisiana as we work together to deliver a world-class debut this fall. Our team is focused on maintaining the strong momentum of the 2026 season, and we look forward to sharing finalized dates in the near future. All right, so I'm going to ask a few questions here because I got a ton of them. First off, you came up with this schedule a while back, like last year, so you knew the heat was already a problem. Okay?
No, because heat in New Orleans is a brand new concept.
Exactly. The weather in New Orleans is just weird this year, and it's hot apparently in July in the South. Number two, the point that I want to bring up is the global sports market that you're saying that Live cannot compete with when in 2018, before Live was a thing, this World Cup was announced in the U.S.
You know what I find amusing? I find there's a lot of that statement that I do not like. I'll be 100% honest with you.
So let me ask you first, Steve. What's the main thing in this statement that bugs you the most?
Read the beginning of that statement again, please.
Just sit back and relax. I'm going to enjoy
this. In
this.
coordinates with the state of Louisiana, in accordance with the governor of Louisiana and the Louisiana Economic Development, we have made the strategic decision to explore moving. So hold on.
No. That was the word I couldn't remember that you said. You got to the word I wanted. They're exploring. They're exploring the idea of moving the event. So if you're going to explore the idea about moving the event, okay, so that's first off.
Well, you contradict.
Does that mean you're actually moving the event?
No, because we are grateful for the continued partnership and flexibility of the state of Louisiana and look forward to delivering world-class debut this fall. So you're already talking about moving it this fall, but you're not committing to that in the first part of your statement.
Correct.
Let's call that out.
Furthermore, ... They talk about the global sports calendar. Now, the word global was chosen there because of what Live is and trying to be a global tour.
And it's the World Cup. Let's be honest what they're talking about.
And it's the World Cup. It's not like nobody knew when the World Cup was going to be.
It's not like the World Cup was decided in 2018 before Live was a thing. Point that out.
Correct. So there's that. And then you're going to move it to, and we have to remember what state we're in here. You're going to move it to Louisiana.
We're in the state of confusion is what we're in.
I have the schedule right here. Odds with Dave, ready for the schedule.
You're going to try and compete in Louisiana with Go Tigers football on Saturday and the Saints on Sunday.
Oh,
Let
not
me get
only
this
that.
straight.
Schedule.
Hold on. I'm going to add something else to that because October starts the NBA season again and the Pelicans will start up again. So I'm even going to give you the NBA in there.
So you literally think you can compete in Louisiana in the fall, again, in a football crazy state, and win? No, you can't. There is, when I tell you that, and I made a call last night to somebody that is a member at Bayou Oaks that I know, that I've been talking to quite a bit about the renovations and the things that they've been doing at Bayou Oaks. I called him last night when this news broke. And I said, is this tournament going to happen? And he said, absolutely not.
So, Steve, let me ask you this question. Live itself and all of Liv's fans talk about the world of golf and being a global sport, and Live is better at being global with this.
Correct.
So what you're saying is if you are this big global sport, you can't compete with another big global sport. Is that what you're saying here? Is that the reason?
Again, it goes back to my argument that when everyone says, oh, golf needs to be a global game, it needs to be played around the globe. Golf is played around the globe. There's no professional sports franchise out there, sports league out there that plays a true global schedule except for tennis. Now, tennis fails to reach golf in popularity. So I'm going to look at the sports above golf. Golf falls in like 8th at this point. So you've got 7 sports above golf in popularity globally. Soccer being number 1, or European football. Cricket being number 2. The NFL being number 3. And yes, the NFL dabbles in European games. What, they play 6 of them last year? They played 1 in Brazil. You have the NBA.
I don't know. The Jaguars are basically based there now.
No, they're coming to Orlando in 27. I'm excited about that. So when you look at the bigger picture with all of the moving parts as to what's going on, you have you're telling me, because again, the globalization of sports and the World Cup, if you really want to say that the World Cup is a global event, they regionalize the World Cup for a reason every 4 years. And why do they regionalize the World Cup for? Because of logistics. So
what do you mean? What do you mean when you say regionalize the World Cup? Like it's played in one area?
It's played in one area. So in 4 years, it's going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but it's
right.
done for logistics of where it's played. Yeah, okay.
I don't
want people to misunderstand you there and thinking that it's just that region is watching it. It's still a global sport that they.
It's a global sport, but there's a reason that the Champions League in Europe, arguably the best league in soccer, which you could compare the Champions League to the PGA Tour, and as far as the top of their sport, there's a reason the Champions League plays in Europe. They don't have teams in North America. They don't have teams in Asia. They don't have teams in India. They don't have teams in South Africa.
Steve, I'm going to give you actually, that's done by a regional thing. CONCACAF is the U.S. version of that.
Correct.
That's the European version of
Correct.
That. That's why that's played that way.
But when you look at the Champions League and EPL, when you look at Champions League and EPL, and then you have MLS.
It's the top tour because
right.
La Liga and the MLS, they play in the CONCACAF Cup, and the Champions Cup is played in the European, which is the better market. Let's be honest. That's what you're saying here.
So to say that golf needs to be played globally, golf is played globally, and golf is a feeder system, just like soccer is, just like basketball is. They feed these. Baseball is. Every sport out there has a feeder system to get people to where they need to be, and they have regionalized tours. So you have the Asian Tour, you have the DP World Tour, you have the Sunshine Tour in South Africa, there's the Australian Tour, the Australian PGA Tour down in Australia. All of those, what I think needs to happen, there needs to be an easier pathway outside of PGA Tour Latin America, Korn Ferry Tour, DP World Tour to get people from around the globe to the PGA Tour and have the PGA Tour be the best tour because everybody's striving to get there.
Well, and that's true. That it is the best tour there. So let me go back onto this whole live thing here. And Dave, I'm going to ask you this question. They bring up two different things here, the weather and the global sports calendar.
Mm-hmm.
What do you take from this? Do you take this as they can't, again, make up their mind that they're a team event or a single event? That is it the weather or is it the calendar, or are they just trying to like throw everything at you so you don't realize what's actually happening?
I think it's the magical wheel of compensation that the three of us are all used to. It's just, let's throw things at a wall and see what sticks here. It's one of those things with I think they're stuck in between a rock and a hard place with all the announcements, all the changeover, a CEO that's in place right now that's trying to do things the right way, at least in their version of trying to do things the right way. And a lot of this was set up before he was in charge. And granted, none of this has ever gone right. We understand that. I think they've only had one event that has been super successful, and that was in Australia. And that was just based on, Cam Smith being there and doing really well. I would call that their most successful event.
And their U.S. event here in Indiana actually went very well last year and was successful on their terms.
Well, like I'm saying, most successful. Well. Yeah. And I think right now with what they're trying to do is let's throw everything at the wall. Let's reorganize and try and make this right. Now, all three of us, one of us still currently lives in Central Florida. We've all played golf in the middle of July in Central Florida. Heat and weather happens. They play golf in Texas, same type of weather. So I'm not buying the weather as an excuse on what's happening there, because you're playing this you're not playing this at a Muni. You're playing this at a pristine golf course that takes care of their golf course. And I'm not worried about the words
of Yip Strickler, although it is not a prestigious private golfing club, it is pretty good. It's semi-private. It's city-owned, but it's semi-private.
Yes. And so I think moving it to the fall, the NFL schedule isn't out right now. I've looked at the LSU schedule. Yeah, it's football crazy down there. You could throw Louisiana Tech in there too and have a weekend going on where there's going to be football somewhere with something going on. So I think this is just a matter of let's throw all the slop at the wall and see what doesn't run all the way off.
So, Steve, let me ask you this question now to you, because you've talked to someone there, and they're talking about they've worked with the state of Louisiana, the governor of Louisiana. Louisiana put over almost $2 million into the course, into this event, and put all this money out there for it, knowing they live in Louisiana and that it is July and that this is where it lands. How does this look if you were working in Louisiana and you saw all of this, and you obviously know someone that is at the course there too? How does this look to you? Does this seem like it's BS? Does this seem like we're trying to just get our ducks in a row?
The only defense that I'm going to give them, and it's something that the three of us understand very much so. Would you rather play golf on Bermuda in June or overseeded Rye in the fall? And what looks better? What looks better from a mow pattern? What looks better on the golf course? Like, again, do golf courses look great in June in Florida? No. It's why Bay Hill's played on overseeded Rye. Sawgrass has played on overseeded Rye. So, Dave, I will get to you in a second here. You can put your hand down. We don't need to smell your armpit. No, so I think that there is when you look at that answer, they didn't dive into that as much as I feel like they should have. I feel like they should have said, listen, golf course conditions in the summertime aren't quite ideal for tournament golf, because they're not. I mean, can you get them there? Yes. But would you rather play them when you have overseeded Rye or where it's just easier to control what you're doing? Way easier to do that. So I honestly think that is actually a better move. I will say that. But that's
from a visual standpoint.
from a visual standpoint in a product.
But who's going to see it?
That's a good point. Thank you for saying that. So let me ask you this, though.
Dave, was that why you had your hand raised? Because if it was, that was a great answer.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
It's perfect timing. So let me ask you this then. Because you're trying to be a league that is both a individual league and a team league. And now you're moving this event to after all of your season is over. So are you moving it to next season? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just saying that, hey, this is going to be a exhibition now that doesn't mean anything?
This is our, hey, we're going to wrap this up and close the door, and we're going to party in New Orleans, because where else can you have a party and a death march all in one place? You do it in New Orleans.
I mean, I could see a great second line starting at Cafe du Monde. I really could.
It's so I really got to ask this now. I'm going to ask this to both of you. If you were working for Liv right now and you saw this happen, like that, hey, we're postponing this event after all of the conversation about the PIF leaving, the money's drying up, players talking about leaving, and then I'm not even going to bring up I'll bring up another thing in a second here. But if you were an employee of Liv right now, if this was your company, whether it's like your company doesn't have to be Liv, it could be any company, you started to see this writing on the wall, what are you thinking?
Greg, can I clarify?
I'm looking at LinkedIn at other jobs.
Are we talking office personnel, or are we talking on-course players?
Office.
I'm talking office personnel. I'm talking like office personnel.
Okay.
This was an office job, and your company you saw started canceling stuff, started the funding wasn't there. I'm not saying about the players and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about
so where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And if they want to continue, the actual salaries that they're paying to people will have to go by the wayside, because let's be real, they're going to need that money to pay the entertainers in Liv.
Yeah.
Because that's where that is going to have to go.
Now, I don't want to play.
Yeah, Dave's right. Get my resume ready on LinkedIn.
Yeah. You don't want to play devil's advocate here. And you don't want to think, morbid things. What else happens in the fall coming off the Gulf and going into Louisiana that could cancel things?
As someone who got married in October in Louisiana.
Yeah.
That was the biggest concern we had.
Right.
Hey, hold on. Your teams don't have that concern right now.
I think the other problem that you have, and then there's a report that came out this afternoon discussing the fact that there are Liv players that are reaching out already to the DP World Tour. Now,
so that goes back to the point that I was just making of if you're a business in that, but now the players are part of that business. So you're updating your resume and being like, hey.
And I think
let me ask you this question, Greg. And when you look at that, and you look at this, where is this going now? I want to ask this question and understand the last 3 Mondays, we've had very negative news start and come out about Liv. And last week, one of the comments I think from Ian Poulter was, it must be a Monday. It's a slow news day. PGA Tour stirring up the pot. Do you think that the PGA Tour is stirring up the pot here with this and just dropping this news out to media outlets, or do you think? Because I'm of the opinion where there's smoke, there's fire. But Greg, let me ask you this: what's your opinion of that?
So I honestly, I think that this is what I wasn't going to say before, is that it's come out that the Liv players, and we've kind of known this already, they can't badmouth the Liv Tour based on their contracts that are there. So they have to kind of come out and have this spin on it for what it is, which I don't like that they're doing it in this way, like making this up and trying to blame somebody else. Because I actually believe this is, hey, someone found out that the PIF was backing out because of the global what's going on in the world right now. So that's truth. So that was public knowledge. So that's not the PGA Tour coming out and saying that. Now, might be someone from the PGA Tour that's like, hey, look at this. Our competitor is having problems. Every company's going to jump on that. This, again, is now something that the state of Louisiana is involved in and a course is involved in. So like you said, someone that's at that course, they're obviously going to have this knowledge of what's going on, and it's going to leak and it's going to get reported. So like you said, when there's smoke, there's fire. So stuff leaks out, stuff gets out there, and then people start looking into it. And so a lot of people get out there and try to get defensive and say, oh, it's just this, and they're trying to do this. And it's like, no, look at the writing on the wall. This is what's happening right now.
So it may be the writing on the wall, but you said it, things get leaked, things get out there. What are we as podcasters, as media doing right now? What are other outlets doing right now? Talking about LIV Golf. Whether it is positive or negative,
it's publicity.
This right here is picking things up.
Your wife? That was a picture of your wife that came up.
Yeah, it's a picture of wife.
Yeah. But the algorithms, everything else, LIV is being taught, whether there's positive or negative. People are still discussing LIV right now. The three of us are doing it for 21 minutes right now. It is, whether it's positive or negative, it is still news traction for them to get eyes on a product, whether it is positive or negative.
So let me ask you this then, because I think this is a big thing that you have to consider here. We have this publicity. LIV is out there. LIV is a giant that it is, because it is. It's out there. It has big names in it. It has great players that are in LIV. But if I'm looking at it now, your biggest investor backed out because of their global everything that's going on, which makes sense. But they also weren't seeing a return on investment. So as the CEO, my question would be, how are you getting other investors to say, hey, we can make this successful? Because if I'm looking to invest, I'm looking at the track record and going, you haven't really gotten anywhere. There hasn't been giant improvements that are out there. And just saying the excuses of, oh, the PGA is holding us down and courses don't want to. Well, even if that's the case, you need to overcome that. How are you overcoming that?
You don't have the money for the courses.
So I look at this and say, now you're backing out of Louisiana, and you can say whatever reason it is, like that it's the weather, that it's the global thing. You should have thought of all that ahead of time. So now I'm looking at this as like, you have poor planning. So why would I want to invest? So I just don't think this is a good look right now for them, even with the excuses that they're coming up with.
Yeah, there's no from a financial standpoint right now. I'd rather take odds on Tiger winning the Masters next year than invest money into LIV Golf. Because it's just the ROI hasn't been there. Year after year, there's zero ROI. There's nothing, whether it was on the CW, whether it was on YouTube, whether you watch, Bryson and, John Rahm right now, that's only going to get you so far.
Well, I don't think that's their biggest problem, because I think their biggest problem is these ginormous contracts. They overpaid people to come over there because that's the only way they got them to come over there. You can't sustain that. Had you had just all the stuff you just talked about, I think that could be overcome, and I think that could be better. But now you've set a precedent that these people are going to make this much money, and you're not going to make that much money because you don't have that financial backing. And a lot of the money that comes into the PGA Tour comes from sponsorships. Players have to pay to be in the events. They get it from sponsors too. But when you have more players in the field, that also helps raise the overall prize money.
Well, again,
you're not going to get that with LIV.
The other problem you have is the money they spent on players. They paid a lot of guys well past their prime that had already peaked. You have a bunch of former major winners that showed up and got paid. Andy and Poulter, who got paid for 3 wins, great best 4 handicap on tour ever.
But I like Poulter, and they paid because people like those players, and they thought that, hey, I'm
Right.
gonna like them over
But
there,
they didn't
which didn't seem to be the case.
They treated those players like George Steinbrenner treated the Yankees in the 90s.
Yeah, but that got us some World Series.
After they all
You know
left.
what'll treat you good, though? You know what'll treat you good? Cobra Golf, and they're at the forefront of innovation, redefining performance with groundbreaking technology like Future Fit 33 and advanced 3D printing capabilities. Every detail is engineered to fit you, providing unmatched comfort, precision, and results. Learn more about how Cobra can improve your game at cobragolf.com.
So
Get an ad read in.
I think you did. Steve, let's bring up the Justice Department too.
So this has been out, and if anyone wants to go to the Google, you can search live contracts. ESPN did an article on live contracts, live player contracts a few years ago when this whole Justice Department investigation opened, and there was a lawsuit that went somewhere, and the live contracts got exposed, and ESPN got wind of them. And part of those contracts stated certain things like that live cannot say anything disparaging about live. The live players cannot. And they can't meet with media without Liv's approval, and there's only a certain approved media list. So if we say wanted to ask a Live player or caddy to come on our show and have a conversation, they could not, because it'd have to be approved.
Well, they could.
By
They just have to go through all the red tape.
Right.
They have to.
Well, and then the minute they watched any one of our shows, they wouldn't be allowed to.
Why? We're pro Live, right? Have I misread this the whole time?
Yeah.
So this will come out in the Justice Department filings that are supposed to come out here shortly. Does the PGA Tour have monopoly? No, it does not, because you have the DP World Tour, you have the Japanese PGA Tour, the Japanese Tour, the Asian Tour, you have the South African Tour. There's other tours around the globe. So the PGA Tour does not have a monopoly. They may be the biggest ticket in town in the U.S., but
and the most
globally,
influential over those other markets too.
Correct. But is it a straight monopoly? No. As
No.
monopoly is written, no. So when you look at the way these contracts are worded for Live, when you look at the independent contractor contracts for the PGA Tour, it's one of the things that I look at, and all the things that have been said by the players and by the PIF, and like I feel like you have, not the PIF, but Scott O'Neill and the organization. I feel like you have to read into what they're saying to get the truth, because Scott O'Neill has tried to word salad you very much so. And the minute they write something or put something in writing or say something, if you look at it, much like this statement today of we're exploring the option of moving it to the fall. You can read that, and the Live proponents are going to be like, oh, well, we're playing it in October. Yeah, we're going to play it in October. We're going to move it to the fall. It's a better move. They're exploring the option of moving it to October. So
they're not guaranteeing it's moving to October. They haven't said
they're not guaranteeing
to October. You would have come out and said, hey, this is moving to October blank. And you haven't done that.
Mm-hmm. So I think we have to be careful with what anyone from Live is saying or putting out there on social media, because at the end of the day, it's probably not true.
I don't think it's not true. I think they are exploring all their options, and they're not going to tell you that, hey, this is the writing on the wall. No company ever comes out and says, hey, we're closing, until they actually close. No company will say that. They're going to look to sell this. They're going to look to do something. They're going to look to find sponsors until they can't afford to keep the doors open. Correct. So they're never going to say that. So you have to look at the writing on the wall, like we've said here. But what makes that worse is now the players can't freely talk about it and talk about what their feelings or what they're seeing, because you're over controlling them on that. Now, a lot of companies have these kind of gag orders and things like that on people, and you have to keep things there. So this is not anything that's uncommon, but this is where I think Live is different, and people don't understand this. It is run more like a corporation and a business than it is but like a nonprofit or a company, because let's be honest, players get fined in every sport for talking about refs and officials and all that kind of stuff as well. So they can't speak their mind sometimes. So this is not uncommon. But to your point, Steve, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, because don't just go out and go, oh, they're saying this. And that's what a lot of these live fans say is, oh, you're lying. This is fake news, or that's not that. No, this is what I see. This is my observation.
Right.
This is our observation. Now, if you're looking to see things more clearly on the course and get that right yardage, make sure you're checking out Nikon Golf for all your rangefinder needs with that OLED technology. Nikon Golf, the best rangefinder in the sport, the official rangefinder of the LPGA Tour and the Golfing Dads. Like how I did that thing.
So just really quick here, because I have it up on my phone, a quick update on the PGA Professional Championships here. Our buddy Ryan Linehan has moved up 41 spots right now on day 3. He is now tied 30th. Ooh. Right now he is one shot.
5 spots. He needs 5 more spots.
No,
it needs one. It's one stroke.
He's one shot back right now of the top 20.
The top 20 is at T16, and then everyone after that is T30.
Yes.
So he just needs to get one stroke and move up.
And so he had just like last year, he has had a great third day. And he had a good first day at Bandon. Didn't play well well is an understatement here, but at the Pacific course, and they're playing Bandon today and I believe tomorrow as well again too. So they hopefully Ryan turns it on again for day 4, and we'll get to see him in the PGA again.
You know what? You know where else we're going to see him?
Where are we going to see him?
We're going to see him next week in this screen, talking about what's going on this week. So it'll be exciting to have Ryan in with us next week. So stay tuned for that.
Can we talk about the other New Orleans event?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. Let's go to the other New Orleans.
Because while I chose wisely, I did not choose super wisely.
I missed the cut, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Awesome. Love what that.
So you're picking
Freaking
first.
love it. Freaking love that.
Wait, Dave, who did you pick?
I had Novak and Griffin.
Oh, I thought you picked Fitzpatrick, so I thought you had to win here. So
no, I did not. Okay. So I'm picking last again. Yeah, so, I finished tied 10th.
Okay.
So I'll take it.
It was a fun
here's
event.
The thing, and I love this event. And I know we've talked about it, that we believe that this should be a mandatory event if you're going to be in the President's Cup, the Ryder Cup, just to get out there and play some team golf and go out and do it. The fact that Matt and his brother went out and shot a 57 one day for a record for the team event right there. It's just, unbelievable watching, some of this, whether it was 4-ball or alternate shot throughout the weekend. As much as we all love the Ryder Cup, I think this is an event that more people need to get behind.
Well, and here's the funny thing. I'm going to go to the controversy that a lot of live components complained about on here and said, oh, the PGA Tour lets you bring your brother out to help him get his PGA Tour card. He has played in the U.S. Open. He has played in PGA events before.
Yep.
He's
one on the DP World Tour.
He's one on the DP World Tour. He's a tour player out there, and he has earned his spot. His brother is probably the player that's playing the best golf right now out of every golfer in the world. So why wouldn't you do that? It's not like he brought Dave along and Dave got his tour card for this.
Right.
And it's a great story. Like we talk about, these PGA Tour events every single week have these stories of overcoming something, playing well, playing with your brother, overcoming PTSD. When we talk about Gary Woodland, overcoming that you were bagging groceries one week and then you're winning on tour a few weeks later. this is what this makes this tour special, is that anything can happen. You can have a Cinderella story out of any week.
Yep.
It's the same reason that, Dave, you just made the announcement that we're rooting for Ryan in the PGA this week so that he can make the PGA Championship again.
And his
he's
kids
right
can go
there
play with
on the
Scotty
cusp.
again.
Exactly. He can go get his babysitter of Scotty.
We need
again.
babysitting Scotty is what we need.
We do need babysitting Scotty again. So it's these stories that make this great. So when people talk about, oh, it's LIV or the PGA is breaking all these stories about LIV, no, they're just seeing what's happening. And LIV players, I feel, and LIV fans just complain that they don't have what the PGA Tour has.
Yeah. And
that's my
this is Zurich has nothing to do with LIV. They're not out there competing as a team and individuals at the same time. This is what you were finding in the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. You know, that why we don't get behind more of the President's Cup, I don't know. And we get Ryder Cup fever every 2 years, but that's what American golf does. It gave us a chance. We saw, Shane and Brooks play together for 2 days and missed the cut by 2 or 3 strokes. Thanks for picking them, Steve, so I didn't have to.
Steve's having a tough week.
You see a lot of interesting pairings that have come out of this. And I have no problem, with him earning his tour card. This is a PGA Tour event. He has played on the DP Tour. He is not an amateur golfer by any stretch of the imagination. He is out there grinding week in and week out, and more power to him. And I can't wait to see what happens.
So
I would do the same thing for my brother.
Okay, and I get that. You're the PGA Tour. You need to shake things up. You are talking about shrinking events off of the calendar. There's been a lot of negative in the media about this scenario. And you're sitting there in Ponte Vedra as a new commissioner saying, hey, listen, we don't need the nativity. There's no OWGR points. There are FedEx Cup. It's half FedEx Cup points given out for this event. Do we look at this event and say we need to scrap it moving forward?
No.
Yeah, I say yes, you do. I don't want you to. But this is where I think that if the tour is looking at changing the bulk of the schedule, you need to have almost a season and an off season. And I feel an event like this could be a fun off season event because then you're not worried about the FedEx Cup points. You're not worried about the official world golf rankings, and you make it this fun off season PGA event to keep that hype of the PGA up. Steve, you talked a few months back about how the NFL has only 18 weeks and then playoffs, but then you have, like we had last week, the NFL draft this week, and then you're going to have
they have a year-round schedule.
Yeah. That's what I think the PGA Tour needs to go to, is you have your core schedule that is where most people watch, but then you have these off-season stuff that I think TGL could be tied into, that I think the race to get your tour card, that fall swing, could be tied into. But if I saw an event like this during the fall, I mean, we all watched on Thanksgiving that match play event that was great to watch. I think if you did this then, you're just keeping the hype year round. And that's the way I would kind of look at it.
And I think if you add some fun into it.
Yeah. I would actually take this a different way, Greg. And I'm going to take this on the idea. And Dave, I want you to debate which one sounds better and then add your twist to this, okay? If you took this event and made it more of a signature event, and you force the top players in the Ryder Cup, President's Cup team to have to show up for New Orleans and have to show up at Zurich, I actually think it's a better event if you make it what is that upper echelon event, because now you get all these other guys to show up and play. And now we're back to that point that we talk about of, hey, we need the U.S. players to show up and play alternate shot. We suck at it. I mean, there's no questioning that. You can even go back to the last President's Cup and say we sucked at alternate shot. We got lucky in 4-ball, and then we waxed them in singles. But we were terrible in alternate shot, and we actually gave the international squad a chance to win the last President's Cup because of the way we played in alternate shot. I actually think that we need to make this a signature event and make this so that the best players in the world show up and prep. And, oh, wait, if you want to play on Team USA's Ryder Cup team, you need to get your butt to New Orleans.
So, Steve, let me ask you this question, because obviously you're not going to keep it at the same time if you're doing it for that. And apparently in July, August, you can't really play in New Orleans, according to Liv. And September is when you would get to the Presidents and Ryder Cups. So where would you put this event? Because I have an idea, but I don't really like my idea.
I actually leave it where it is after Harbor Town. Okay. But I also bake some things into the schedule accordingly. There was a conversation, by the way, and I don't necessarily agree with this, with the design of the new schedule, that they were going to give the players the week off after the majors.
So that's probably going to happen, and that's probably going to move Harbor Town back, because they're not going to get rid of Harbor Town.
Right, they're not going to get rid of Harbor Town. Yeah.
So let me tell you what my idea is. My idea is replace Hawaii. Do it before the season starts. Have it the week before your first event, because you didn't want to compete with a lot of stuff. Don't make it a signature event, like have money with it. But once again, no World Golf Rankings, no FedEx Cup points, but make it a paid event where you can make good money off it and have everyone be there the way that you're talking about, and have them prep ahead of time. And now you'll see them the rest of the way through the season, and it changes their mindset.
What if you did this? Because I don't see them doing that early because of the weather and how dodgy.
Oh, I don't either. But
apparently, I'm going to throw the craziest idea out there.
Or you move it out of New Orleans and you move it to California.
No. Do you make waste management a team event?
I honestly love that idea. Because
I'm just saying,
think about it. I love the rowdiness, and if you have two teams almost playing against each other on 16 there, and that rowdiness and pumping people up and getting people excited, and I would almost like to see them come up with a team name for that week. Like, make up a fun team name for yourself, like the Fitz Boys or something like that. Like, have something where you put your team together, and that could be a fun way to do it. That also moves it to where Dave, I kind of said at the beginning.
Dave,
of the
we cut you off, Dave. What's your take on this?
I still think I would like to see them incorporate the LPGA into this as well too, and make it a full on, whether you're doing it as twosomes or even as a threesome. And there's a How I Met Your Mother reference there.
I'm just keep going.
There. Yeah. And just whether it's 2 or 3, could you imagine, Scotty and Corda paired together in an event?
Dear Lord, that would be amazing.
You want to, and it's one of those, the PGA wants to, if you're thinking about consolidating this event, but yet you are standing behind the Ryder Cup and not allowing, I got onto that take before that, you need to have the best players in the world, whether ranking or whatever. And this is, Rahm and all of his issues with Europe, or Bryson and Brooks and everybody else and the issues with the US. If you want to have the best players in the world, you need to have events like this in order to get them ready to do these events that you are considering marquee events and charging $1,200 a ticket to go and see on Friday and Saturday.
So, Dave, you gave me a great idea. Here's the event. You make it combined, LPGA and PGA, okay? And you have 4 days, and you make it like the Ryder Cup and the Solheim Cup in a sense. So day 1 is best ball of a guy's team. So you have 4 people on a team. You have 2 guys, 2 girls. At best ball, just guys versus guys, girls versus girls. Day 2, same thing, but it's mixed. It's a guy and a girl, a guy and a girl. Day 3, you have a scramble type event or alternate shot type event where you can pick anyone from that combination to be there. And Sunday is best score, just like in the Ryder Cup. It's match play, but best score overall. Yeah. And it's a point system. Like, think about that. That prepares you for the Ryder Cup. It brings these 2 tours together and makes it fun. I think that.
I don't think it makes it. It makes it watchable, and the dollars are there.
Oh yeah, I'm watching that. We're fixing golf and the golfing dads, people.
We are. By the way, I just sent a text message off to someone, a friend of the show's, who's actually going to be carrying a golf bag this week at Doral.
Last week's guest. Because of the guys that aren't playing, Aldred Potgieter got in, so we know, along with our picks this week, we know that we will be rooting Aldrich along also. So always a good one to follow them. They've got, he's got some good stuff. You know who else has some good stuff? Bridgestone Golf. Dial in your game with the Bridgestone Tour B featuring Mindset. The visual cues help you focus, commit, and roll it pure. Same tour level performance, now with a smarter way to lock in. Find your fit and play the Tour B. I will say that new Tour B with the Velo Surge technology it took a already great golf ball and made it by far the best golf ball on the market right now. So make sure you are checking out Bridgestone Golf.
I played in a tournament yesterday and had a conversation with somebody. And we were talking about something.
Who's picking right now?
One of our brands got brought up.
A little upswing golf.
Get your young professional started right with Upswing Golf and their full kids lineup of clubs designed for proper fit, real performance, and serious fun. Upswing Golf, grow like a pro. We were talking about the ability to change out shafts and things like that. So that was a super good option. Everybody liked it. I was actually playing in a first tee event yesterday with our friend Alfredo, friend of the show. Also, I do want to give a shout out. One of our followers, one of our listeners who's not watching this week, disappointing, Matt Gessner, who is at Dothan Country Club as the lead assistant. They just signed a deal at Dothan Country Club with Upswing Golf for their junior program.
I will say we were on vacation at a little place in South Carolina and was talking to some other families there while we were in the pool. And I had a lot of families being like, wait, what kind of clubs is your son using? And I told them about Upswing, and I was like, it'll save you money over time.
Where were you in a pool?
You don't get, because it was after the round. So I was cooling off. And the other families that were there, it was the community pool in this prestigious golfing club.
Yes.
And the other families there had kids around my son's age. And I said, yeah, he gets these clubs. You buy them once, then you just got to buy the shafts and then a few other clubs as you go forward. But you don't got to buy a completely new set. You don't got to buy a complete new driver, complete new putter, because they grow. These clubs grow with you. So check out upswinggolf.com.
I did win closest to the pin on 11 at Orange Tree yesterday with my new
club. Nice.
2 feet 6 inches with a little pitching wedge downwind. It was nice.
I hate that hole.
Flag was on the right. I'll be honest, it wasn't that back left flag that nobody wants any part of.
Oh no, I've most of the times when I've played there was the back left flag. So
it was front right. It was much easier to yesterday.
All right, well let's get into this week, and we are going back to a course that used to be on the PGA Tour for the first time in a few years. We're going back to Doral.
With the same title sponsor that they had when they left there.
That is true.
Yeah.
The Cadillac Championship is back, folks. We're going back to Doral. This is a course that, Steve, I can say I have played. And it is a.
By the way, Eric said drink prestigious.
Yeah, who knows? So with that, we're going back to Doral. We got a fun week this week. It is now Trump National Doral, I think is the actual official name. It is. Do they still call it the Blue Monster now that it's a Trump course? So
no, it is still called the Blue Monster.
It's still there. I gotta say, I went before it became a Trump course, and one of the best barbecue grilled cheese sandwiches I have ever had was at this course, and that's including the Cuban that I had there as well.
Yeah.
So,
we got a pretty good field coming into this. Scotty's playing this week. He's coming in about 3-1. Cam Young at almost 13-1. Morikawa at 19.5. Tommy Fleetwood coming back this week at 23.5. Russell Henley at 25. Siwoo 26. Goddard at 27. Jake Knapp at 29. Sam Burns at 30. And our buddy Aldrich all the way down to there, 145-1. I've already written.
You didn't have to cover that. You didn't have to cover that.
Yeah, I did. I've already written both of your picks in for this week.
I can't pick Scotty.
Yes, you can.
Why can't you pick Scotty?
Because I picked him at Augusta.
Masters doesn't count.
Masters doesn't count. So you can pick Scotty.
And does this count for? So
April.
The PGA doesn't count. This
majors don't count towards our. You can't pick them. Majors, you can pick whatever you want.
Well, then just I don't have to look back in my notes then. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, and Greg, I've written down your pick as well too.
Who'd you write down?
Cam Young.
No, that's not my pick.
Oh, who are you taking?
Wow.
Give me Colin Morikawa.
With the back issues.
Yeah, he's gone
on a very long
T4 with the
on a
back
very
issues.
long golf course.
I'm going.
Just take Cam. Just take Cam. We know you're doing it.
I'm taking Goddard.
Oh, okay.
Like that pick.
That's who I had written down.
Right? Cam's going to win this week, right?
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
Well, no, Morikawa's going to drop. Morikawa's going to drop out, and we're going to give Greg the pick, and he's going to take Cam Young, just like that happened with you.
How funny would that be if I did the exact same thing you did when you got at the AT&T?
No, it was at the Players.
Oh, it was the Players.
It was the Players. Yeah.
And I was on the phone with you telling you that this was happening.
Yeah.
And that you got to pick someone in the background. So, to be honest, the other pick that I was going to go with this week was Mr. Tommy Fleetwood. I thought this is a good week for him as well.
Yeah. I like Goddard coming into this after a little bit of time off. So.
I think Goddard
is too big of a ballpark for Tommy.
Yeah.
Hey, but if you're looking to look great out on the golf course, make sure you're checking out Golfish for all of your apparel needs. We wear it here on the show. It's the official apparel provider of the Golfing Dads, and it is the most comfortable stuff you will ever wear on a golf course.
I do like the visor.
The visor's nice. I have two of them actually.
Yeah.
And I do like the visor. I've worn it out on the course a few times, and I always get great questions about this stuff. So make sure you are checking them out. All right. Well, with that, last thoughts. I'm going to take odds with Dave here, and I want to ask you before we sign off. When does Liv fold? Is it the end of this season? Do they go another season?
No.
What do you guys think?
I don't see him making it past this season.
I think the bigger problem that you have with making it past the season, and I agree, Dave, is Bryson's contract is up. What do you do with that? Without the PIF money, how do you afford John Rahm unless they've fronted him that money already and they've paid him out? Like, where do you go with these contracts that you have for these players, and what are they doing? And I just don't think that when it comes down to it, you're not staying at Liv if you're not getting paid. Let's be real.
That's true. So I agree. I believe they make it through this season, but I think next season is going to be very iffy unless they get.
Do I see more things happening like New Orleans that are being removed.
I'm worried about
and
that because
reconsidered.
I am hoping that they get here in August for their
I'm gonna
player
be
championship.
I'm gonna be very intrigued, Greg, for one thing, and that is there's a 6-week, month and a half break now that they're not playing New Orleans.
Yeah, and there's gonna be majors that are gonna be in there too.
To the end of July, and yes, you have a major. You have 2 majors during that time where their players are going to play, but you go from early June to the end of July without a live event, and a lot of media in these guys' faces having to ask a lot of questions. I'll be honest, getting through that stretch is going to be key.
Yep. All right. Well, tell us what you think. Tell us if you think they're going to fold by the end of this season. Tell us what you want to see with them moving forward, and tell us what else you want us to talk about. But next week, can't wait to talk to Ryan again. So check us out next week, and we got more on the PGA Championship coming up. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, y'all.
See ya.
All right, guys. What a round today. Cheers.